Smithsonians, welcome back. Smith Francois here, and no new guests here in the Columbus area, but probably new to the viewers on Smith's platform, but not to Messier Francois platform. I'm not gonna give too much introduction. We have a scholar in here. We have Black excellence in our presence, and I would love you guys to introduce formally Mr. Tracy Robinson, but I want him to do his introduction. All right.
Smithsonians, welcome back. Yeah. This ain't just content. It's purpose. Purpose over popularity. We building legacy, not just views. Every story got meaning. Every voice got truth. Camera rolling, vision clear. We turn purpose into impact here. Smith says, let's go. Let's go.
Who are you?
My name is Tracy Robinson. I live here in Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
Married to Dwan for 37 years. I have 2 adult sons. Jacob is 33 and Jonathan is 31. I know I look much younger than that, but these are my sons and their ages.
All right. So where were you born? Originally Columbus, Ohio?
No, I was born in a little small town in Ohio. Like the majority of people from Ohio, we are all from small towns. I'm from Elyria, Ohio, 30 miles west of Cleveland. This is part of being a natural Buckeye. I'm a natural Buckeye, born right here in Ohio.
I never heard what you just mentioned. What's the name again?
Elyria, 30 miles west of Cleveland. If you get on Gate 8, you exit Gate 8 on the turnpike. Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So, growing up, I'm an import to Ohio. So how was it? Well, how was the atmosphere like? This is middle of nowhere, I'm assuming.
Well, no. Not 35,000 people, but my little hometown. But everybody that grew up in Ohio had the same experience. Let me tell you what it's like to be a Buckeye.
Okay.
One, school was important. Most of us walked to school.
Okay.
Second, everybody in town went to the Friday night football game. You did not need an appointment. Anybody you wanted to see was at the stadium Friday night, and I played football.
Oh snap! How did I know that?
Oh yeah. So when you grow up in Ohio, there are certain traditions that everybody experiences. Every town in Ohio has a park right downtown in the center of downtown. Every last city. Every last one of them. They're all built the same. So, growing up in Ohio, many of us had very similar experiences. Couple more. We all grew up in church.
Facts.
We went to church every Sunday. I didn't know anybody that didn't go to church. Matter of fact, I was in the 2nd grade when I met the first person who didn't go to church. I'll never forget it. I used to play with a little white boy. I said white on purpose. Name was Billy. I would go to Billy's house. We were the best of friends. Oh, Billy was my buddy at school, in the neighborhood. I was over at their house and I told them something about church. And I said, Billy, what church do you go to? He said, none. I thought God was going to strike him dead on the spot. But he didn't explode. I didn't know anybody. I said, what do you do on Sunday morning? He said, watch cartoons. I said, cartoons come on Sunday? I didn't even know it. So that's how I grew up in Ohio. We played outside. We played hide and seek. Red Rover, send Tracy over.
Ooh, what?
Oh, yeah. We played hopscotch, outside football, outside basketball. That's growing up in Ohio.
Okay. So one thing I want to clarify is same thing. Grew up in church, but you said church outsider. Like, where did that come from? Because like I go to church on Saturday.
Yeah.
Seventh-day Adventist denomination. And it's like outsiders that mean people outside of your norm. It's absolutely like, whoa, I'm scared of you. It's like, but like even talking to Sunday people at church, it's like it used to be a battle for me. It's like,
well, I was a little boy at the time, and I think that says more about my family life. That I didn't know anybody who didn't go to church. Because why? I went to church every Sunday, but our social life was also integrated
Correct.
with the members of that church. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, so
And that was the Second Baptist Church of Elyria. Reverend R.J. Gordon was the pastor for 33 years. That's who raised me spiritually.
all right, so how do you get to Columbus?
It's a long story.
Okay,
Don't want to give you the whole narrative, but I lived in Los Angeles for 10 years.
okay,
I thought my future was going to be in Los Angeles.
okay.
But I married my college sweetheart.
All right.
And Los Angeles was fun until I got married. And let's just say that my wife wanted to live a family life. So we decided to leave that big city
Okay.
and come to Columbus, Ohio and set up shop. That was 30 years ago.
Okay. Sweet. So I'll draw back to the introduction of you just recently completed something,
Yes.
and I would like to know I'm going all the way. What does that mean?
Well, what you're referring to, I recently completed my PhD in May of 2026.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And I think your question was, when did I know I was going to go all the way?
Yes.
The day I got admitted. See, in order to earn a PhD, the most difficult thing is to be admitted. Once you're admitted, you can figure it out. Well, you don't have any new knowledge. You know how to write your dissertation. You may not even know how to do PhD courses. That's irrelevant. If you get admitted, the rest is downhill. It's a lot of work, but get admitted and don't worry about the rest. I knew then I was going to go all the way. I did not know when the finish line would appear.
Okay. So let's talk about your education before we can move further, like high school, elementary school to high school. Like,
All right, well, I'm a lifelong learner.
okay.
And part of my goal is to be an example for my family. And that's my sons, my nieces, my nephews. I have 22 of them.
Oh,
So I need them to look at me as an example, not a perfect one. Yeah, but not a cheap one either. But no, the best example that I can be, that's all. And so, yeah, I that's one of the motivating factors. You know, for me, pursuing a PhD was not academics alone.
okay.
One, it was an act of faith. See, when you're doing something bigger than you, three things are going to show up. You let me know if they were showed up for you. One, doubt.
Yep.
I'm not sure about this.
Yes.
Two, fear. I'm scared. I'm afraid. Looks kind of dark. It's getting heavy. Yeah, that means I'm afraid. Yeah, fear is definitely going to pop up. The third one is unbelief. And the worst thing about unbelief is not believing in yourself. So those three things you have to deal with spiritually. One, I have no doubt. Two, I'm not scared. Three, I do believe. I believe in God, but I also believe in me.
Okay.
And that's not an egotistical statement. That belief comes out of suffering, sacrifice, hard work, self-denial, perseverance.
Okay. So you answered it. I was going to say, what has it taught? What has getting a doctorate taught you outside academic? But
Well, no, it teaches you a number of things. Any person, particularly Black person, I don't care where they went to school, they have an earned PhD, they're very talented people. Why? It takes many years. Let's just say it took me 7 years plus the pandemic.
wow.
What does a PhD teach you? How to research, how to select data that's real. Most people don't know. They read something on the internet and start quoting it. What is the source of that data? Where did that data come from? That's very important. If not, you could be convinced of anything. Actually, you could be easily brainwashed if you don't understand
That's facts.
sources of data. A PhD also teaches you how to write. One of my most difficult challenges in this pursuit was writing PhD level with APA, 7th edition citation.
Let's to do that.
Yeah, I wrote my entire paper in 6th edition. They sent it back and said, you got to change everything to the 7th edition. We just changed it last month. Oh, so you have to persevere in this process. Yeah. What does a PhD teach you? Problem solving. Teaches you how to look at a problem and solve it from a PhD level, not just from somebody casually having an opinion. Big difference. Okay. Huge difference. Yeah, but those are some of the things that I learned from earning a PhD. And I also learned a lot about myself.
Yes, the best.
What am I good at? What do I enjoy doing? What do I have passion for? You learn that when you get a PhD. You learn that about yourself. Those type of things you cannot fake. They must be authentic.
Okay. So I want to say, we talked about it briefly, but how did your upkeeping shape your opportunity for success?
All right, well, let's go back to my childhood. I have 9 brothers or 8 brothers and sisters. I'm one of the 9. 5 brothers, 3 sisters. My mother was the leader in our family. Wasn't even close. My father was there. He was a hard worker. Education was not his thing. He poured concrete. I learned how to work hard from him. Anybody see me work, they know. That's a hardworking man. I learned it from him. I work in a government office like I'm pouring concrete. So growing up, my mother, Tracy Robinson was her name. She put 5 kids through college virtually by herself.
Wow.
My older brother Al became a medical doctor. My brother Terry and I slept in this bunk bed. He slept on the one right here. I was able to grow up in my bedroom watching my brother Al, absorbing his habits like osmosis. And I saw him reading every single day. In high school, I saw him doing homework every single day. He's probably the most disciplined person I've ever met. I was able to observe that. So growing up in my household, religion, which is our Christian faith and our Baptist church, and academics, plus a good work ethic, was driven into us by our parents. My father would wake me up at 7 a.m. on Saturdays. He wanted to know, was I going to sleep all day? Back then you couldn't respond. I was thinking that was the plan, at least till noon. No, sir. We had to go and dig a ditch. We're going to leave there and go plow the field. Or we're going to leave there and go cut grass. He said, I'm going to make a man out of you. Well, he did that. And guess what he taught me? I am not a ditch digger. No, Dad. I told him, no. He taught me how much money I could make pouring concrete. No, Dad. They pour that outside. And so my dad and I kind of clashed because he thought I was lazy. No, that's laziness. No, sir, I'm headed to college.
So yes, explain that, because I'll let you continue, but I want to explain, like, what sacrifice did your family have to make? He's working on a farm, like, or outdoors.
Oh, no. He sacrifice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a very key word now. Right. Well, let's talk about my sacrifices. I ain't worried about no sacrifice 50 years ago. No, let's talk about sacrifice today. Because see, sacrifice is a very key word now. It's a very key word. Sacrifice is what keeps people from moving forward. If you have desire, a need, you got to have it today. Most people are that way. No, they got to have it right now. Well, you won't get much in this life. Ooh. A little instant gratification, perhaps. But no, no. You have to sacrifice. Now, let me tell you what I mean by sacrifice. you're going to give up something that you got a right to. Not a sin. You have a right to it. I decide not to exercise that and share it with somebody else. Let me be specific. I could have my feet up, retired, and taking it easy. That is not the successful path. I have way too much energy in me for that. When a person sacrifices, the first thing they sacrifice is their time.
True.
You know how much time I spent typing papers over and over again? How many journal articles I've read over and over again? Time. I could have been using that time to go make money. So the second thing you sacrifice is money. If money is your God, you're going to have it rough. Okay, money we need. Can we all agree you need money? Yeah, but it makes a lousy God. It's not a reason to live. It's not a purpose for your existence. Money is something like you use like a tool.
Yep.
Now, if you can't manage money, get in a literacy financial course. Those skills are taught. I don't care how much you make. If you can save 10% every paycheck, you'll be just fine. The discipline required. Ambition is something I had to sacrifice. I say this with humility, Smith, but something deep down in my heart and my soul tells me that God has something great for me to do. I can't do it on my couch. I have to prepare. I have to keep digging. Getting part of my PhD, I had to take my personal ambition and put it on the shelf. I saw business opportunities, jobs, other things I could have taken advantage of. No. Another thing you have to give up is luxury. Luxury. If you love luxury, you gotta have a nice car. Oh, you won't go out unless you have a nice car. I know some people won't come to church if they ain't got the right car.
Dang.
All right? It means you're hooked on luxury. Nah, you can't. You gotta sacrifice. You may have to sacrifice that. I've sacrificed vacations. See, this is how you know if somebody really wants something. Are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to give up something you have a right to? You say, no, I'm going to deny myself that right because I have a higher goal. See, this is why people need to go to church. This is why people need to be in relationship with other believers. Because I have friends in my Bible study group, deacons, in my Sunday school class, all these people encouraging me along the way. Isn't God good?
Yep.
Yeah, that's how you get a PhD done. You got to surround yourself with good people. You know, I'm convinced, Smith, most people run with too many weeds. Ooh. See, you want to blossom, but you can't blossom in a field of weeds. Let me tell you what I mean by that. I have 3 gardens in my backyard. Collard greens, kale, mustard green, turnip, tomatoes, zucchini, cucumbers, you name it, I'm growing it. By the way, slaves fed themselves. Slaves fed the slave master. You'll never read where the slave master was out there in the field getting food for the slaves.
Wow.
You know, I wonder why people don't feed themselves today. So if Kroger went out of business, you starved to death? Nothing in the freezer? You ain't grew not one leaf? God forbid.
Please, because I have to fly to Haiti. Because I can't do it here.
Man, you have the power to decide your lifestyle.
Yeah.
You have the power to decide that. It's already in your hand. Now you got to learn how to exercise it. So let's get back to the weeds. When you growing greens, I don't care which version, weeds grow up right next to it. You know what that weed does? This is why people need to have discernment. You know, I hear a lot of young people go, well, don't judge me. Or I ain't going to judge nobody else. Why not? No one has answered that for me. Now, if you mean put somebody down because of who they are and what they believe, no, that's not right. What I mean is discernment. Do you have the ability to discern good from evil? If not, don't worry about being successful because you're going to be a victim. Guaranteed. You have to be able to discern right from wrong, good from evil, sin from righteousness. If you can't do that, I believe you should start right there. When you go to my garden, a weed will grow up right next to a green. And guess what it'll do? It'll look like it. It's still a weed. Now, if you can't tell the difference between a collard green leaf and a weed, well, then you're going to have to let that weed continue to grow. Now, let me tell you what the weed does. It sucks water out of the plant that you should be getting.
Wow.
Secondly, it takes nutrients out of that soil that was intended for your growth and development. But no, you like that weed so much. You like those type of people so much that you let them stay around you. Yeah, you do. And guess what they do? They actually get bigger than you. I left some weeds in my garden on purpose, and that weed is bigger than the greens.
Wow.
All that nutrient, all those resources, all that time, all that money, God wanted to invest it in you. But guess what? It's in the weeds around you. Get rid of those weeds. Purge yourself of weeds around you. If not, ask yourself a question. Why do I like these type of people? I teach my sons this, take a survey. Look around you. Look at the people you spend the most time with. You're going to be just like them. No such thing as I'm doing great things by like running with my boys who do nothing but get high. No such thing, sir. Clean it up. If you want to be successful, get rid of the weeds in your life. By the way, nobody comes to my garden and takes the weeds out.
Oh.
Not my wife, not my neighbor, not my sons, nobody. I got to get on my knees, get my tool out, and get those weeds out. I can't stand weeds in my garden, and I can't stand weeds in my life. Ooh. This is why you have to become comfortable. You want to get a PhD? You want to do something great? It could be a GED. It could be an associate's degree. You're going to have to get comfortable spending a lot of time alone. You okay with that? You okay being by yourself? You know, one of the first things God told Adam, it's not good for you to be alone. Yeah, I wonder why God would tell him that. I can tell you why. I'm a man. A man left alone without God in his life. He got nothing but his own crazy, selfish thoughts. That's why God said, no, not good for you. See, when you're working on something of purpose, for me, it was a PhD. All right? You have to be totally confident that God is with you. I was totally confident, never doubted that. 1 minute. Had to ask him where he was sometime. All right, but never doubted his activity in my life. From that type of confidence, you can accomplish your dreams.
You're on the education committee for the Northland area. And there's some, basically there's weeds in the school system. Like there's many things that's not working. So how does one help the community?
Oh, yeah. I've been chair of the Northland Education Committee. I serve as the vice chair of the Northland Area Commission. In those capacities, I have identified a problem in Linden that I'm looking to address. That problem is low literacy. Low literacy scores among the youngest children, and I mean 0 to the 3rd grade. Yeah, those are the children I'm focused on. And let me kind of paint the picture for you on how bad the reading problem is in Linden. I will name schools that I have served in. My favorite, Northland Elementary, had a score last year of 22. This year it came back at 26. Now, those scores are based on percentages. So when it says 26, it's telling you that 74% of the kids in that school in 3rd grade failed the reading test. Let's go on to another school, East Linden. They lead in the parade at 44. But I remind Principal Jones, anybody got 44 in my class got an F. You were nowhere close to a D. And Columbus City Schools' goal is 45%.
Wow.
I guess that's okay if your child is one of the 45, which means that 55% of the children cannot read. Let's go to Linden STEM, Cleveland Avenue and Weber, right behind the PNC Bank. You know where it is? Reading score of 8. None of the 3rd graders in that school can read, and that's the newest school in Linden. I could go on. Huey Elementary. I've been in these schools for 3 years. The score was 44. It's 39 now. I wonder why it went down. I can tell you why. Because children need to do 2 things between the ages of 0 and the 3rd grade. They need to read for 20 minutes every day. A parent can do that. That's not something you delegate or you assume somebody else is handling.
Sure.
Number 2, if a child doesn't read during the summer, they have learning loss. Say learning loss. That's what's happening. A child's mind has to be cultivated the year round. Let's go back to my house. Here my mama is with 6 kids at home. She would take me up to LCC Community College. They had a free lecture series. Here I am in the 2nd grade, sitting up in the 2nd row at the community college for the free speaker series. All 5 of us and my mama. I leaned over to my mama and said, Mama, who is that woman on the stage? She said, that is Coretta Scott King. Wow, Mama, she's an impressive looking woman. Who is that? That's Dr. Martin Luther King's wife. What? See, my mother cultivated and nurtured me as a little boy by taking me to lectures. You need to see that person. I met Jesse Jackson standing right there. Andrew Young standing right there. John Lewis standing right there. When my mother made sure anybody like that came to town, yeah, we was like 2nd row. So you can cultivate literacy around your children. Yeah.
Okay. So what about the library? I know you coach us in, but
Well, my work now, for the last 2.5 years, my goal has been to get their father to read with them for 20 minutes a day. I know you're asking why the father, but there's a lot of good reasons. The first one is Dr. Keith Allen Troy, the pastor of the New Salem Missionary Baptist Church, my pastor, told me start with daddy. His theory is this: if you can get dad, you can get the entire family. That is true. Now, something I need you to do at this very second, and that is to dismiss your low expectations of fathers.
ooh,
Right now, take your negative perspective on fathers, particularly black ones, and suspend that for a moment. Now, when I'm done, you can go back and get that negativity, but let me give you some facts.
no, leave it there. No, leave it there.
No, I'm going to give you some facts. Black men spend more time with children from ages 0 to 3rd grade than any demographic group. Right now. Stop questioning their marital status and their residential status. I never ask people that. That's irrelevant when it comes to literacy, because I only need you to read with him for 20 minutes a day. Every day. Second reason is they're not reading. No, I know I've met over 1,000 dads this year in Linden. My wife says more like 2,000, Tracy, but I'm being modest with it. Okay. I met 3 dads told me they were reading. So my job is to train him. If he shows up, he'll be one of the best trained fathers in the city of Columbus to read with his children. We've been doing Dads with Donuts in those schools for 3 years, giving them free books and giving them this message that they need to read with their children for 20 minutes a day, every day. You know, if you read for 20 minutes a day, every day with your child, the child will see 1.3 million words go across their eyeballs in 1 year. I want that to sink in for a minute. You too busy? You're too busy, sir. You're too busy to do that with your child. All children who read for 20 minutes a day, they all go to college. Now, I only talk about the best. Now, if people are not going to do the best, well, there's plenty of things to do. I am a combination of Du Bois and Carter. I think that we need everybody, but I only talk about college. I wouldn't tell my son to go to college and tell yours to be a plumber. Nothing wrong with being a plumber, but you go to college, you can own the plumbing company.
Say it again.
If you go to college, you can own the plumbing company versus being the plumber. Different skill set. Now, get back to what I was saying earlier. Fathers, I'm back to fathers now. 1, Pastor Troy told me. 2, if you get the father, you can get the whole family. 3, fathers are not reading as a whole with their children. 4, the child must see you reading. The most powerful thing for a child is the role model and the example in front of them.
So I guess that really helps with the church, like seeing men read, like as they're reading with the pastor. But people don't do it no more. They use their phone, but they barely do that. They look at the screen.
Well, I'm going to leave that out. I'm not talking church right now. I'm talking you at your house.
Okay.
I need people to read at home. Not at the library. I use the library. Church is fine. I'm talking about your house right now. See, at your home, if you have not identified a space for your child to study, to read, I highly recommend that. So that when your child enters that space mentally, they already know why we're going over here. I guarantee you, if you take your child to the bathroom, they know they're about to shower. Or go to the bathroom. If you take them to the bedroom, they're ready to sleep. If you take them to the kitchen, they're going to cook. If you bring them over to the dining room, they're going to eat. Where is the study space? See, if you don't have a space designated, what you just told the child was that's not important. All these other activities are very important, but not that one. Not enough to designate a space. Number 2, you have to designate a time. You're not that busy. You know, I wasn't doing anything in ministry about 35 years ago. And I was just pleased in my situation. Pastor Troy approached me at church one time and said that he needed me to serve. See, I'm not a liar like many people are. You know how they look at the preacher in the face and go, yeah, I'm going to do it. I told him, oh, no, sir. I am not here for that. I told him that. No, I told him it's y'all's church. I'm just here to help wherever I can. Now, I ain't really trying to get into all this church work. He said, why not? I said, I'm too busy. He says, well, sir, if you too busy for God, you too busy. That thing hit my spirit.
Oh, shoot, I got it.
And I said, wait, what am I doing for the Lord? See, sometimes we do this in a very selfish kind of way. Oh, I'm a good man. I'm a good husband. I take care of my kids. I go to work. I pay the bills. You're supposed to do that. You don't get no award for doing what you're supposed to do. No, I'm talking about excellence. This is what's required. I put 2 sons through college. They both went on full ride academic scholarships. I used that not to brag, but as evidence. It works. Oldest son went to Duke University. $55,000 a year. They never sent me a bill. Isn't that good? You should be reading to your children. My younger son went to the Ohio State University. Then he left there and went and got his master's from Johns Hopkins University. We serve a good God. Now, God needs you to do your part, Daddy. And I guarantee you, if you read that baby for 20 minutes a day, every day, God will honor your commitment. You got to do your part, though.
What are some of the excuses you heard that men don't want to read with their kids?
Well, let's broaden that a little bit. Let's include all parents. What have I heard and what have I seen? The most popular demographic that supports literacy is grandfathers. You heard me. The next group, great-grandfathers. Every time I do a reading circle, a great-grandfather shows up with a couple of children. Now, why are great-grandparents having to be at the elementary school? If I'm a great-grandparent and I'm down at the elementary school, I'm going to ask God one question. Why are you punishing me like this?
I'm not laughing.
It means that grandma and even mama are unavailable. What are the excuses I've heard and seen? People tell me they working. You make less than $50,000 a year in Linden. You know what my mama did? She sacrificed making money to advance me. I was in Upward Bound, 30 miles away from my house. She drove me every Tuesday and Thursday evening. She could have had a part-time job making money. She was wasting time, gas, taking me so I could get academic enrichment. Money may not be your most important thing. Hey, I understand many people are in survival mode. I am not being insensitive to that. But I also see people wasting money. Driving cars that are too expensive. Wearing clothing once for some special occasion. You sure you don't want to invest that in your children? I said earlier, you have to sacrifice in order to make this happen. You know, strong families, which I know many, have some very common traits. And in our community, one of the greatest areas right now is strengthening our families. Families are not strong. Most families got major weaknesses. I can talk about my own family. See, but in order to strengthen your family, you need structure in your household. It just can't be free for all. People come and go, do what they want, when they want, eat when they want. No. You have to put structure in that household. Number two, there has to be resources in that household. This is where your money comes in. See, I hear people talking deprivation. No. You got money coming in, but you spending it on the wrong thing. Don't let me get started. Don't let me... Do you have a gambling app on your phone? Okay, don't get me started. How about the weed app? You got that? You've been down there to the dispensary? You dropped $100 in there? Don't get me started. I never knew liquor cost this kind of money. I'm talking about good liquor. I mean, I'm over 60, and guess what? There's some liquor I just got introduced to. I was at my cousin's house, and he served me Blantons. I had to ask him, what is this? Y'all been keeping this from a brother. No wonder I don't drink liquor. I don't know any good liquor. And then I found out good liquor, $80 and above. You do not have to worry about me. Yeah, I don't let my money go like that. Let's keep going.
Neither.
You have to be able to make decisions like that and know what's important. Yeah, I think essential resources are first. I see too many people living in survival mode, and they don't have to. Lower your lifestyle. Hey, lower your lifestyle, and everything will be all right. Yeah. In my household, my mother taught me how to advocate for myself. Not act ignorant, not yell, not cuss, not scream, advocate. Learn how to navigate an educational system. These are strengths in families, talking about how to navigate an educational system. going from one grade to the next, from one subject to the next, from one level to the next. We had those conversations in my home. Talk to your children about education. If you don't have skills, find friends that do. Expose them to medical doctors. Expose them to lawyers in the community. Let your child talk with them. Ask your child, you know any engineers? Great, introduce them to one. Yes. So these are resources and these are things that I've seen successful households do. Another thing is they support each other. Let's talk about me, for example. I am not bragging, but I do not owe Ohio University a dime. And my degree cost over $150,000.
Congrats again.
My wife, my sons, and my planning made sure I had every resource I needed. Never once concerned myself with tuition. I was not working. No, I couldn't work and get a PhD. Maybe you can. No, I couldn't do that. But you know what I did? I started serving in the community. Everybody can serve. Dr. Martin Luther King said this: you don't need a PhD to serve. You just need a heart full of compassion, willing to make a difference. No, anybody can serve. Jesus said, you want to be great? You want to be great? You must serve the most people. Now, if you don't have faith, you think somebody's using you. But if you have faith, guess what happens? You learn something about yourself and about other people. That's very valuable.
You said the traditional role provider and protector is obsolete. That sounds controversial. Like, what do you mean about that?
Well, I've been doing fatherhood for about 25 years. And I've seen a pattern. Let's say 1970. If a man was a father and he prioritized provision and protection, everybody would say, that's a good father. He pays the bills. He protects his family. Wow. It's obsolete. If that's your model of fatherhood, time has passed you by. Can I tell you what I see that's needed?
I'm waiting for it. That's controversial because, like,
No, it's not. No, it's not. See, being the provider means that you the breadwinner. You the wallet. That's what you're saying. I make the money. So I'm the man, right? Wrong. 65% of all bachelor's degrees in the Black community are owned by Black women. I could keep going on education, but in majority of our households, women have the purchasing power. They earned it. With the higher degree comes higher earnings. 1970, if a Black woman made more money than a Black man, that would actually cause tension in the household. It might make him feel less than a man. Sir, if you got a good woman today, she probably making more money than you. Yeah, but guess what? You stop looking at your family through somebody else's lens. What's going on in my house is my business. So guess what's my business? What my wife makes and what we do with it. Is your house organized like that? If she's the breadwinner, you got to handle her differently. You just can't tell her what to do. You can't boss that woman. Not like that. Fatherhood didn't change, man. Husband stuff didn't change. Oh, yes, it has. When she became the primary breadwinner, can I tell you she's tired at 6 o'clock in the evening? Come over to my house. Come on. I'm going to show you how fatherhood has changed. My sons are adults. Yeah, but my wife is their mother. I can just take you back 2 days ago. When she wakes up in the morning, most mornings, the kitchen is already clean. There ain't a dish in that kitchen. Washed, dried, put away. The floor is swept. The recycling is taken out. the trash has been taken out. Now, why do I mention that? I believe that men need to really reconsider their role in their families. If your family is there to serve you, let me tell you what I mean by that. You're at the center of that family. You are the nucleus. Everything in that house is arranged to support you. That might have been good when you were the primary breadwinner. I put very low on being the primary breadwinner. Let's go to that second role, how fatherhood has shifted. Women can protect themselves. They don't need a man to protect them now. I have evidence. I was talking to the owner of the Onyx gun shooting training school.
I saw him yesterday.
He trained 6,000 people last year. 5,500 were Black women getting their license to carry a pistol in the city. This is just in the city of Columbus, not the whole state. Just here in the city of Columbus. 5,500 Black women they just didn't go buy a pistol. They wouldn't got trained. I think they can protect themselves. And to the degree that they're not really dependent on a man to protect them. They're doing things to protect themselves. Well, Deacon Robinson, tell me, well, what is it for a man to do? I have 4 suggestions. Number 1, and I'm Deacon Robinson right now, and I said that on purpose, not Dr. Robinson. I'm Deacon Robinson right now. Somebody in that family has to become the prayer leader. Who is the prayer leader in your family? Tell you what I mean by that. Who is the person that initiates prayer at all times, in all places, in all situations? Now, implied in that is that you know how to pray. Because prayer is not just I'm vocalizing a request to God like he's Santa Claus. Prayer is not telling God what to do. Do this, do that. I hear that in prayer a lot. You must be able to go before the Lord and cover your family in prayer. If not, can I ask you a question, sir? Who is doing that? Do you value prayer? You know, Jesus' disciples saw him heal the dead, raise the dead, heal the sick, walk on water, restore a man's hand, heal a woman with an issue of blood. I can go through the miracles now. He healed blind Bartimaeus. But you know what the disciples asked him? Not to show them how to do a miracle. They asked Jesus, could you teach us to pray? I got a question. Where you learn how to pray? You ought to belong to a good Bible-believing church. Anointed preaching. And learn how to pray. A second role. Not only as a prayer leader, but you have to be a good example. Father, the roles have changed. You can't just say it and say you do it. No, I'm going to be it. I'm going to ask my son to become what he sees. That's why I got a PhD. Now I can tell my sons, I'm not a perfect example, but I'm a good enough one. Good enough to inspire you to become the best that you can be. Let me review this. 1, you should be a prayer leader. 2, you have to be a good example. 3, this is where your literacy comes in. You should tell your family what the Word of God says. Your family talking about issues all over the house. Do you ever open your mouth and say, well, the word of God says this about that? They don't have to agree, but you have to be accurate. You're not there to dominate anybody. You don't dominate people with prayer. You don't dominate people with the word. Because I'm going to tell you something. Nobody cares how much word you know. They only care about how much love you demonstrate. Kids spell love, Time. If you're too busy, you ain't got to worry about it. The fourth one is, and I've talked about it earlier, you have to be willing to sacrifice. You have to be the number one person in that house willing to sacrifice. Now, what do I mean by sacrifice? I'm going to put your needs, wants, and desires ahead of mine, even if I have to go without. You know anybody you would do that for? I suggest your child should be one. I'm talking about fatherhood, not husbandhood right now. Fatherhood. My mother placed my educational needs above the dress that she may have wanted. My mother told her friends, I never bought a car to impress you. Sometimes we place priority in the wrong areas.
Majority.
We're impressing people. Pastor Troy says this. Ooh, we spend more money and time impressing people who don't care about you. Don't even care about you. And you're here spending money and time talking about what they think. I'm not concerned about their opinion. I'm concerned about the Lord's opinion. Say it again, Deke. I said I'm concerned about the Lord's opinion, not theirs. Now, you can put your place, your hope and faith in what other people are saying. But I dare you, sir, you consider reading with your child for 20 minutes a day. You pray for your family. You tell them what the word of God says. You're willing to be a sacrifice, and you are a good example. That right there will change your family, my brother. Guaranteed. If not, contact me. I guarantee you, it'll change everything. Well, don't get me going too hard. I'll get to preaching up in here. That's my thoughts about how fatherhood and that role has changed. And I'm going to summarize it real easy. From provider and protector, you still got to do those two roles. Yeah, but I'm expanding that to include prayer leader. A man that can tell his family what the word of God says. 3, he willing to sacrifice. And 4, he going to be a good example. That works. That works. And none of that has to be done to perfection, but for total commitment and consistency on a daily basis.
So if that's that simple, what are some barriers that's keeping them from accomplishing those things?
Unfortunately, many people are starting behind. Too many men are making babies before they're ready. Now, what do I mean by ready? Ready to assume the responsibility financially, spiritually, relationally, educationally. You just can't claim a child. You just can't claim, that's my baby. My father did that. I'm going to honor him on this Father's Day now. But you just can't say it. You have to be it at all times.
But okay, if they start backwards and they're not financially ready, what should it actually look like for men to get to that?
Oh, I've been working with men like that for years. The first thing you need to do is pray to the Lord Jesus Christ, sir. You having babies with women you're not married to? More than one? Sir, you're making bad decisions. Okay, nobody has that much child support or time. You might be having a little fun, but that's going to bite you later on. All children deserve their paternal investment from their father. It's hard to do when it's spread all over town.
Break that down, because the first time you said that, I didn't know what that means. So
A paternal investment. I did not say maternal. I said paternal investment. No. What is the paternal investment? That has to come from the father. What is that? Father's time, money, resources, and paternal relatives. All four of those belong to the daddy. It is the father's responsibility to make that type of investment in every child that you claim as your very own. You just can't say that, sir. No, this takes actions and some follow through. And I'll say it again. There's probably going to be some self-denial and sacrifice involved in that. One of the things I see today that's very troubling is fathers who got to have instant gratification. I think people's cell phone has trained them. Download the app. It operates immediately. Start using it. That's not how life is. That's how your phone is.
Wait, ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Relationships don't happen like that. No. No, sir. Put the phone down. Matter of fact, you got a child in the 6th grade or younger. This is a way to see if you have influence with that child. You ready? Tell that child, put that phone down. Come over here and talk to me. What they say. I had one tell me, that's my phone. Really? I bought it and I paid the bill. Your child confused. You're confusing your child now.
Ooh.
You're confusing your child. I know. You want to be like all the other kids, but just to let them understand. That costs money, time, and effort. When you're paying for that, you're not paying for something else. If not, you're teaching your child that they just have an unlimited budget. I never taught my sons that. Never. I showed them, I pay this every month for your tuition. This is what the mortgage in this house costs. There is no deprivation in this house. Why? We're going to keep our living within our means. There is nobody we trying to impress but God.
So, but okay, if the earlier you talked about the woman being the main provider, so that educational bridge between men and women. But if moms are more educational now or more educated, how does men supposed to be? Are they supposed to take the back seat?
No, I gave you the front seat. Become the prayer leader. Don't miss this. I pray every morning for an hour and a half. I'm not praying by myself. I get on the phone at 6 o'clock, let the members of the New Salem Missionary Baptist Church. Then at 6:30, I call a different line. Might be a little weird for some people, but you don't know the demons I had to battle. You don't know the valleys I've had to climb out of. Then I'm on the phone at 6 a.m. with 50 other men. It's structured. I lead it on Wednesday. I ain't just participating on Wednesday, I'm leading it. Let me go back again. How's your prayer life? Reading any books on prayer? You know anybody that can pray effectively? They got their prayer answered? This is what I'm talking about. The new role. I've been a deacon 35 years. Anybody in that house praying? Not like that. It's an opportunity for you, sir. It's an opportunity for you. Number 2. What do I mean about telling them the word of God? See, really, if you behind the 8 ball and you didn't have a couple babies but 2 different women and you're not married to any of them, if you behind, that's behind, sir. Okay, now, I want to tell you something. You have to know what the word of God says and live by it, not just be a recorder. I can put in a CD, go online, hit anybody teaching the word of God now. Guess what? How well is that working? You want to know the most effective preacher in your house is you. Your life, your example. Charles Barkley is right. If my son got to look on TV for a role model, I blew it. You good enough, sir. I'm telling you, nothing wrong with you. Might need to make a few adjustments. Need to elevate prayer. Know God's word. Be willing to sacrifice and to be a good example. Sir, if you do those 4 things, you're leading the parade in your family. Oh, I didn't tell you the end result. If you do those 4 things well, sir, your family will honor you in this life and the life to come. They will respect you. The number one thing I hear men say, ladies, I don't hear men saying they want more sex. They can get plenty of that. They got money. Men, I don't hear them saying they looking for love. I don't hear men saying that. I'm with men every day. You know what I hear men saying they want, ladies? Respect. They want to be respected as a man. That's why they're not getting married.
So, what would you tell a young dad out there with young children listening? What can they do tomorrow morning?
The same thing I've been telling you. I work with dads like that all the time. I got a dad I'm working with now, got a wife and 2 kids living in his car. I told him, you need to be reading day and night to your children. See, the problem with some men is they view themselves as broken, incomplete. They listen to what other people say. And most people have a very pessimistic outlook on black men that the data and the research does not reflect. Too much TV watching. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. The picture that's painted on TV is not reality. So, all right. So I can't do much about a man who's made bad decisions or accidents or mistakes. But the Lord can. Man, the Lord specializes in cleaning up a mess. He specializes in washing people clean. It may look impossible to other people. See, this is why my faith has to be involved in this work. Because some of this work is tough work. That's where God comes in. I'm not stressed. I'm not burdened by this work. Make it a fact. There's a scripture that's appealing to me on this work. Jesus said that his yoke is easy and his burden is light. Oh, I thank him for the opportunity to do this work. I do, because I'm enjoying it. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Training fathers to read with their children for 20 minutes a day, every day. You know why I love this work? Because I'm placing a literacy foundation in the lives of children. When a child learns to read, they can become anything. They can accomplish anything. They can go anywhere. But if a child does not learn how to read, we already know. Without a miracle from God, that life is limited. What a shame. In the city of Columbus, Ohio, where we have unlimited resources, we have not figured out how to teach the youngest and most vulnerable children how to read. Let me end by saying this. If you don't like immigrants, if you don't like Haitians, if you don't like Somalians, you don't like income African Americans, you don't like West Side people, this work is not for you. Every time we host a reading event, that's who shows up.
One final question. What's something most people won't hear if they don't get a conversation with you? Because I get to sit here with you, but there's people across the online that's unable to hear your voice. So what's one message?
Well, I can tell you from my experience here in Linden over the last 3 years, children are very excited about reading. That surprised me. They are enthused. Their eyes are still bright. They are so appreciative to get a free book that we give them. Stop lying on children. Children need to be led and guided, not asked, do they want to do something? Stop lying on children. I'll tell you another group to stop lying on. It's fathers. I've heard so many pessimistic, low expectations about fathers that they don't know and never met. There's many fathers who tell me the first time they walked into the school, I invited them.
Wow.
Sir, you got to invite yourself. Sir, you got to learn how to navigate systems. Sir, you got to make a commitment and be consistent to reading with your child for 20 minutes every day. If you do that, I promise you, the day will come where they will say, I respect my father. I honor him. I'm going to give you an example. I honor my mother, Tracy Robinson, who taught me to read. I have vivid memories of having booklets in front of me in the first grade and her looking and watching me read, correcting me, encouraging me, affirming me. Now, if you was on the outside of that house and you looked in and go, well, look at Mrs. Robinson with her 6 kids. Well, I hope she can make it. She was in there excelling. My brother Al became a medical doctor. My brother Terry became an attorney. Well, yeah, little old Tracy here became Dr. Robinson. I could go on from one woman's commitment. What about you, sir? What about you, ma'am? You too busy? Don't be. I'm advocating for your child right now. I want to thank you for this opportunity to share. This has been a wonderful experience. I look forward to coming back.
So how do people get in contact with you?
Leadingbyreading.net. Leadingbyreading.net. That's where all my literacy work is at. That's where you can find me.
All right. Thank you for your time. I see you in the community doing the work, so we continue seeing more. So thank you very much.
The best is yet to come, sir. My work is just getting started. I am not defeated. We're going to raise those scores.
All right.
I pray about it all the time. We're going to raise those reading scores. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Oh.